Today, we're going to be playing Black Ops Cold War Zombies, starting with Die Machine, heading into the map with no upgrades at all, just a starting pistol and some settings to make the experience feel like classic zombies. Let's get into it. So I loaded into Die Machine with my starting pistol, and my goal here is to basically get a lot of points on a very low round, like maybe round 4 or 5, so I have enough points to open up the map and turn on the power. My goal here was to basically do everything at a such low round because without the upgrades the game does become pretty challenging, so I'm going to be at a disadvantage at the higher round. So my goal is to definitely get prepared as quickly as possible. So as you can see in my gameplay, you're definitely seeing me trying to maximize the most amount of points I'm getting. Now the point system here is entirely different because you only get points when you kill a zombie. 90 points if you kill it with a body shot, 115 points for a headshot or a melee kill. So as you can see, what I'm doing here is kind of taking a strategy that we used to do back in the old Call of Duty Zombies days, where we just shoot the leg or the torso just to get points, and then we melee them to finish off the kill. And here I'm doing the same thing in order to get the most amount of points out of the zombie, which is 115 points, not 90 points. So once I had a decent amount of points by round 4, I made my way towards a mystery box location in order to get myself a weapon better than my M1911. Now, one of my main arguments with the whole loadout system is basically that your loadout weapon just makes the box and wall buys obsolete. And I do see that it does in fact make those systems obsolete. But when I'm using the pistol right now, I'm kind of, inclined to go for a wall buy or a box hit. So I definitely went to the box and got a green Krig 6 out of it. And I'm definitely going to be using this throughout my entire run. I picked up Jug and started to make my way down to the power area. Now, one of the interesting things about Cold War is that it had the objective markers actually introduced in this game, and this is super helpful for casuals. Now, I'm not a big fan of it, and I personally think there should be an option to turn off hints and stuff. A lot of games actually have this option in accessibility. There's a lot of people who want the hints on while they play a game, and there's others who already know how to play the game and they just want those hints off so they don't want to get bothered throughout their gameplay. But this is definitely a great thing for casual players, but I definitely hope in the future we can definitely get a accessibility option where we can just turn it on or off. With the power now turned on and the Dark Ether Rift summon, we can begin the Pack-a-Punch quest. Now, I'm actually someone who advocates for a simple Pack-a-Punch quest. Now, maps like Der Eisendrache have simple, Pack-a-Punch quests, and they're just fun. Just hit square on this piece at this location, hit square on this piece at this location. Pretty simple, nothing complex. But like with something with like shadows, or gate worms, rituals, all that stuff, it's a cool quest, and I definitely agree. I'm definitely 50-50 on it, but I definitely feel like, for casual players and just overall every player, I definitely think the Pack-a-Punch quest should just be simple and straight to the point. With Pack-a-Punch now turned on, we can begin the whole Easter egg quest. So our first step here is to build the ether scope. And something that I really want to point out here that Treyarch did really well for, Easter egg hunts and, kind of ending the whole RNG, multiple spawn locations thing. One of the great things that they actually did here is have set spawns, but don't have them, appear right away. So basically the ether scope, parts spawn randomly, but they're not going to be spawning in random locations. So maybe you're not going to get this certain part first, maybe you're going to get the other one first, or maybe this part will be the first one, or it could be the third one. All that is randomized, but they are in set locations. So whenever people go back into the map to do the Easter egg again, they already know what locations they're looking in, and it's only 3 locations that they're going to be looking in. So now I have a Megaton spawning, and you may realize something here is that the Megaton has an icon on top, and this is actually one of the settings that I adjusted in order to give myself that classic feel of zombies. I'm not a big fan of health bars for zombies and mini bosses. I'm okay with, the main bosses, etc. But for zombies and mini bosses, it's just kind of an annoyance to me. So I'm really glad the icons only setting allows this to be a reality for me. I'm really glad I have the choice to turn off these health bars. I actually found out about this right now because I didn't think the mini boss health bar could be turned off, but apparently it can be turned off. I went ahead and pack-a-punched my gun to tier 1 and then eventually made my way to the armor station in order to upgrade it to a blue rarity so it can be a lot stronger than it is. And then I continue on with unlocking the die shockwave by using the key card dropped by the Megaton and getting the die remote control, and eventually going to the area in Noct and training a lot of zombies around it so the die shockwave can suck it up so I can blast open the door. Now I wanted to ask you guys this question, and you can reply with your answer in the comments section below. How do you feel about the Wonder Weapon unlock quest in Cold War compared to previous Zombies iterations? Do you prefer how Cold War went with a more simplistic route so it can get a Wonder Weapon in your hands right away? Or do you like the longevity in previous Zombies iterations where, you kind of get that base version and then you actually had to, go ahead and hunt the upgrade process for that Wonder Weapon to get it to a higher sense of power? Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. With the Wonder Weapon in hand now, I ended up getting the empty flask and the empty canister in order to continue the upgrades later on. Now I made my way towards this rift in order to complete the next step of the Easter egg. This next step requires me to go into the dark ether and pick up a journal and take it to 3 different spectral reflections of Dr. Vogel. Now the cool thing here is that when you're playing with like zombies around you and stuff, the zombies actually stop and don't attack you. You can actually stand still and actually, listen to the quotes. But since I've heard these quotes plenty of times, I just made my way through the map collecting any last bits of pieces I need, like the fuse, and then I even went to the tree here with the dark ether megaton and had him shoot the tree in order to fill up this flask for one of the upgrades. The first upgrade I decided to start with is the Dielectro Bolt. So I had to activate this specific Dark Ether Rift and head into the Dark Ether and go around the map to 3 different crystals that are glowing, and I basically had to suck the energy out of them and then take that energy and shoot it back at this crate right here 3 different times. So once I shot this crate 3 different times, it unlocked the Dielectro Bolt. Then I made my way back to the main Easter egg type of area and just shot the specific color connected to the Dielectro Bolt. The next upgrade I went for is the dye cryo emitter. So I went back to the tree, collected the flask with the liquid in it, poured it all over the crate here so it can unlock the dye cryo emitter, and then I shot the leg connected to the dye cryo emitter to raise it up. So I decided to take on 2 different upgrades at the same time here. I had a active dog round, so I had to fill that empty canister with the Playhound gas, and then I also had to go inside the dark ether and place the fuse on the crate. Now I almost went down here because I had a Megaton, and these Playhounds and their gas is pretty brutal to the health, especially, with the base version of Jug here. So I almost took it down here, but I made it out safely, managed to pick up the Plaguehound gas, go ahead, placed it on the crate, got it open, and then I went ahead and picked up the thermal version of the Die Shockwave and went ahead and shoot its specific leg there. and went back and got the Die Nova 5 and did the same thing as well, completing that step of shooting every single leg with its respective die variant. With the previous step completed, I entered the Dark Ether right away in order to use the Megaton I had on hand for the next steps. So I spoke with the Spectral Reflection here so they can drop the Dark Ether wrench, and I took the wrench, went over to spawn by the tank here, hit it 3 times so a zombie pops out. I killed the zombie and threw a Semtex onto the tank so it can shoot a tree here that drops the decontamination agent. And then with the decontamination agent, I had to escort it down to the lab again by the containment room and placed it into its respectful spot. Now that I returned the decontamination agent to its rightful spot, I brought in the Megaton, split it in half so the 2 halves can go inside the little containment tube, and then once both of the Megatons were in place, I activated the computer screen, and this ended up causing them to merge into Orlov, and then eventually Orlov breaks out and heads into the darkness. So we had to enter the Dark Ether one last time here so we can speak to the Spectral Reflection of Orlov, so we can spawn in the photo that will lead us to the last step of the Easter egg, which is basically, you know, the quote-unquote boss fight, but not really. It's basically just a defending Orlov type of step. Before I went into the final step of the Die Machine Easter egg, I went ahead and pack-a-punched my Die Electro Bolt to tier 1 just so I can have a powerful wonder weapon, and then I went ahead and picked up Quick Revive, Stamina Up, and Deadshot, and then I went ahead and picked up the photo so we can begin this final step. Upon entering the final step of the Die Machine Easter egg, I was wondering to myself whether this step was going to be a challenge because I had no upgrades, no field upgrades to use at all. So this was going to be an interesting experience to me because I'm so used to using everything that Cold War offered to me from the get-go. So I went ahead and started to defend Orlov here, and I'm going to be using the Die Electro Bolt Pack-a-Punch a lot here because, fun fact, the Die Shockwave wasn't actually able to be Pack-a-Punch at launch. So this is a massive game changer for me because the Die Electro Bolt prior, you know, all the Pack-a-Punch updates and stuff, really good, but now Pack-a-Punch, super OP for me here. It's just shredding all the Megatons and their, you know, split versions here. So I'm just getting through all these different defense stages pretty easily. So it's such a great wonder weapon, honestly. You know, this is probably one of my favorite wonder weapons to use. It's so fun to use, even in Outbreak, because it allows you to like super speed across the entire map. I don't know why it does that, but it's so fun to use. So as you can see, I'm getting through the first 2, you know, stages here. Just getting through them. You know, Orlov gets stuck when, you know, Plague Hounds get near him or zombies hit him. But as you can see, you know, the Die Shockwave or Die Electro Bolt Pack-a-Punch is super OP. So I'm just going through it easily here, just trying to get ammo back right here through the Megatons. But there you go, I completed the step here, and you know, that's basically the Die Machine Easter egg complete. So now all I have to do is just get out and exfil. As I was making my way towards the exfil, I missed the jump and almost took it down, but I'm goated, so I got out of that situation pretty easily and I made my way towards the top, and that's pretty much it. That is the entirety of the Die Machine Easter egg, complete at its most basic form. No upgrades, no field upgrades, you know, specific settings set so we can have that classic zombies experience. So I am definitely going to try the other maps, Firebase Sea, Marauder Totem, Forsaken, and possibly even Outbreak, but only if you guys do enjoy the series. Let me know in the comment section below if you did enjoy this video, and let me know what you guys want to see, you know, in the future videos. Do you guys like this type of content? Do you think there's something I can improve upon? I definitely want to take your feedback into consideration. But that will be all for now. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.